I don't care who you love or who you adore. Wrong is wrong, period. How's it going, guys? It's Jared Barrett. Today's date is Sunday, August 30th, 2026. It is the final Sunday video update of the month of August before we go into Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which begins on Tuesday. And I've got some other videos that are slated to appear on my other channel, just called Jared Fuller. And so if you are not subscribed to that channel yet, please go subscribe. Go check it out. I upload a lot of random content over there, and I don't do video shout outs on that channel. I just upload like open thought videos, and I've been uploading shorts and all that stuff. So yeah, please go check it out and subscribe. Click all on the notification bell to be alerted of new videos when I release them. So I normally don't open up with I don't open up with a response to a text message in my Sunday video updates, but today was the exception because it is the Sunday before, it is the last Sunday of August, but it's the final Sunday before Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I don't care who you love and adore. Wrong is wrong, period. So there's that. We do have some comments in my chat, which, by the way, chat log is open if anybody wants to come in and say hello or kiss my ass or whatever the case may be. So first off, tonight is a Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards. My good buddy Dan Richards will be going live on 103.9 The Fox at 7 o'clock tonight. The link to that station is in the chat. You can listen live from anywhere in the world. You can follow the link in chat, and you can go from there and listen live, or you can download the Fox mobile app and listen from anywhere in the world. So Dan plays your requests of classic country, southern rock, and classic rock, and all at your request. The number is 810-230-9777. Again, it's 810-230-9777. The 9777 spells out the station's call letters, which are WRSR. Call him, or you can email him at flashback@classicfox.com, or you can message the official Fox Sunday Flashback Facebook page. There are multiple ways to contact Dan and get your request in. If he doesn't have the song, he'll message me. He'll send me a text and say, hey, do you got this song? Can you send this? Absolutely. So I'm on the case. So I am the associate producer, the unpaid associate producer for the Fox Sunday Flashback. I'm not employed by WRSR. I'm not employed by Kroll Communications. It's just a label that Dan gave me. I'm not, it's not my actual paying job, but I do help Dan with music when he needs it. So 103.9 The Fox is the Fox Sunday Flashback. Yeah. See, check it out. I am in fact wearing the shirt. So it's free advertising for Dan. So Dan's a good buddy of mine, and I'll probably see him tomorrow night. So we have just two comments from a long time subscriber here on my channel. Goes by the name Chewing Off My Toenail, which is a funny name for a YouTube channel. He says, my toenails worked together as a team and carried an entire pretzel log from the container over to the nightstand next to my bed. And then he says, September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We love you, Jared. Well, I love you too. Thank you so much. I love everybody. I try to, but it's not always easy. But I try to handle everything with grace and compassion. And I've been that's been my hobby horse lately, has been this idea with outsiders. And as you all very well know, I recorded a Daily Rant recording calling out Jordan Bellows from WHIP Pediatric Cancer. And there were a couple of other videos where, situations could have otherwise been handled differently, but people choose to be dramatic, and they choose to take the dramatic route in everything. So I don't expect a phone call from that individual. I don't expect to talk anything out, because they've got their head so far up Debbie Carver's ass that they know what she had for breakfast this morning. So toodles, I did what I had to do. I'm still going to raise awareness to childhood cancer, though. So be prepared for that. And yes, I did record a Daily Rant about Jordan Bellows because it needed to be done. I mean, you don't post something so ridiculous on your Facebook page and expect me to and it was in response to me because she started, and I still have the screenshot of the post from the WIT Pediatric Cancer page. She says, it's been brought to my attention that a person has been saying things that are untrue and attacking my name, calling me an outsider to the childhood cancer community. I'm not going to argue with him. Of course, you're not going to argue, Dumplin', because it's an argument you're going to fucking lose. So you did the right thing there. You were smart in that regard by not engaging and trying to argue, because in this situation, you couldn't argue your way out of a wet paper sack. So you were very wise in just keeping your fucking pie hole shut and not saying a word to me about why you think you're a part of the childhood cancer world. You might be a part of the childhood cancer world. However, you are an outsider looking in. You can write it 100 times on Facebook that you're not an outsider. You can write it 1,000 times on a chalkboard. You can have it etched in a stone. You can have it engraved in your headstone. You could write it in blood. You can write it over here. You can write it over there. You can write it everywhere. It just doesn't fucking matter. You are an outsider, Buttercup. Too bad if you don't like it, but that's the reality of it. Get over yourself. And to the person who texted me and said, could you quit posting shit about someone I love and care about? No. Until such time as they quit posting stupid shit like she posted, then I'll leave her alone. Saying that just because she's there in the presence of these sick and dying children and because they ask for her, that somehow makes her an insider to childhood cancer, when in fact it doesn't. It doesn't get you any closer. See, the thing about outsiders is that, and as I pointed out last night, and I tried to be very subtle about it in my Jerry Barrett Night live stream last night, which, by the way, I hope y'all had a chance to watch. I tried to be very nice and civil about it by saying, look, you don't know what a family goes through. You don't know what an actual survivor goes through. You don't know what the parents go through. They can tell you, or they can at least try to express verbally how they feel or what they're going through. But even then, you still don't know what it feels like. You don't know. You don't have the visceral, rudimentary understanding of childhood cancer and what it is. You have not the first fucking clue. I take, and this is really weird even for me, because as someone who's always said, look, everybody should be raising awareness to childhood cancer. Everybody should. I'm not going to deny someone, raising awareness to childhood cancer. We need as many voices as we can get. And I wouldn't argue or dispute that. But when you have particular outsiders, and I have this, my skepticism about outsiders has grown continually over the course of the last 10 years because they continue to show me how fucking sly and sneaky they are, and they're shady by saying that they understand what we go through when they don't. But I've always encouraged even outsiders, it doesn't matter who you are, raise awareness to childhood cancer. But my skepticism for outsiders has grown just rapidly. And it's because when they start making this about themselves, that's when I take issue. But somehow when I speak up about this and I try to explain to people, hey, they don't know what you're going through, and those conversations are not being had, I'm viewed as a bad guy. I'm the bad guy in this because I spoke my mind and I spoke the truth. So guess what? If you want to paint me as a bad guy, cool. You're just wasting your time, though, because someone who's never had to go through this, they don't understand what this is. And Jordan was really doubling down and grasping at straws on that stupid, fucking ridiculous, disgusting, gross post that she put on WIT Pediatric Cancer. That was the most disturbing, disgusting thing I had ever read. And you know, she contradicts herself too quite a few times in that post. So I'll let her live with that, and she can simmer in that nonsense. And you know, I try not to be disrespectful of anybody, especially oncology parents, because they're going through a lot of shit with their kids. But sometimes you have to call out the obvious. And it may not always be nice. It may not always be something you want to hear. And it sure as hell isn't something that you should be focused on at the moment. But when someone is exploiting your kid and they don't conceal it, that becomes an issue. Children should not be exploited for popularity. Your kids are not props for popularity. Your children should not be used as pawns for clout and notoriety and oh, look at what I did for this kid, you know? I'll mention this until I'm blue in the face. Nobody's going to fucking listen to me anyway. But it's really sad, and to me it's just really strange. It's really sad and it's really strange. It's even more weird that parents don't see that. They don't see it as, oh, well, they're not exploiting my kid. The fuck if they're not exploiting your kid? If they can't personally relate to your situation and their only goal or mission is how they are viewed in the perception of the general public, they're not having those conversations. They are exploiting your kid. That is active exploitation. They cross ethical boundaries. I don't care that they raise all this money for a children's hospital. I don't care that they can get mail sent to your kid, which, by the way, I think is really dangerous, that anybody would be putting their mailing address or physical mailing address on the internet, knowing that there are actual people out there who are actually willing to do crazy shit. I think anybody who's posting, even if you have permission to post it, I think it's really stupid. I think it's really dumb. You're posting a physical mailing address, not to mention, even if it is a P.O. box, they know the general area of where you live now. They've got that. So you never know who's waiting in the wings. You just never know. And you're trusting someone to put your physical mailing address on the internet. Even if they think that what they're doing is good with mail and all that shit, I'll tell you something. I write to cancer warriors. There are a lot of cancer warriors and survivors that I actually write to still to this day. And never in my wildest imagination would I ever think to put their mailing address on Facebook or even here on YouTube. I would never in my life, it would never occur to me to put their place of residency on public platforms and forums where they are the most susceptible now to some freak or creep or some deranged person out there potentially causing harm. That's really stupid. I understand that there are, you got to sign a waiver or whatever. Okay, big deal. But that doesn't eliminate the threat. And I'm, even with that being said, I'm kind of sitting here wondering, so how is it that even though I could write a letter to a mom who's grieving and say, look, let's resolve this civilly and privately between the two of us, how is that any more of a threat than someone who's actually putting your physical mailing address or post office address on a public platform? How is that any more of a threat? Because I wanted to handle the situation privately between that person and myself. It never happened, and I don't think it's going to. And that's fine. But they have to live with the ignorance of believing someone without actually knowing the truth. And when people say to me, well, how dare you say that she's a grieving? Well, I'm sorry she's grieving, and I'm sorry that she's in mourning, because I sympathize with her, and I actually do have empathy. Despite what you've been told about me, I'm an actual human being, and I sympathize and empathize with people. Absolutely. However, you still have to live by reality's rules. And believing something for no good reason is really stupid. Even if you are mourning, even if you are grieving, it's a stupid thing to do. It really is. So, I mean, I try to be sensitive to what people are going through, and I try to empathize and be sympathetic. But you still have to live in reality. You still have to share space and time with other people. If you're going to treat people negatively, you have to expect some kind of a reaction, which is what I usually do here on this channel. And most of you who may not be privy to this, you hear me sound off about people, and you listen to me sound off, and I talk about people. I single people out and I talk about them in the daily rants and maybe even here on a Sunday video update. But this is what you all need to understand. I don't randomly just one day wake up and decide that I think I'm going to pick on somebody today. I think I'm going to bully somebody today. No, I give what I'm given. If someone is going to treat me unfairly or poorly and be stupid about it, they're going to get called out. If you want to go on Facebook and plaster my name all over the fucking internet in a negative way, I'm going to call you out here. It's no different. It's okay for you to bash me and to run my name in the dirt, but I can't say shit. I can't defend myself on my own YouTube channel. I think you're wrong about that. And I will do it. So that's why I had written the letter to that mom, and I said, hey, let's resolve this civilly and privately. Why do you put it on Facebook? Why did you put it on Facebook? You could have just called me and we could have just had the conversation. We could have talked out our differences. We could have absolutely took care of this between me and the other person. They didn't want that. They wanted to take it to Facebook. And then the next thing I know, I've got a bunch of minions and pit bulls coming at me and leaving comments on the videos and saying I'm nuttier than a fruitcake. Well, guess what? I love fruitcake. I love fruitcake. So thank you for the compliment. But what you guys are seeing all the time is a reaction to an action that was taken against me. I'm not coming on here just randomly picking on people. If you plaster my name all over social media in a negative way, I have a right to defend myself, and I'm going to the fucking teeth. However, another side of that coin that you have to also remember is that if you're like Jordan, if you're putting stupid shit out into a public forum for the internet to see, you are opening yourself up for public opinion as well. You can't just write something and not expect someone to react or respond to it. Even if someone texts me and says, stop saying shit about her, I don't have to stop saying shit about her. Maybe she should stop posting stupid shit, and then we wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have the reaction to the action. I swear, it's like I'm 40 years old, and I swear the whole world is like a fucking high school, because grown adults don't know how to act. They don't know how to behave. And, I try to be civil about everything. I try to take care of things in a calm, rational, civil manner. But there's people out there who just want to blow it up into something that's not. Just like the mom that I had written to. I got the screenshot, by the way, and I'm not going to tell you who sent it to me because it's not important. But, and by the way, not only is it not important, but I don't want you going after them and giving them a bunch of shit for it. So names aren't going to be mentioned, but I got the screenshot, and the post was so vague. Oh, I received a very upsetting letter. All I did was said, hey, you have been fooled. You have been lied to. If you would call me on my phone, and the contents of that phone call wouldn't have ever made it to YouTube. I wouldn't have shared anything from the phone call because that's the kind of person I am. And I do have feelings and I sympathize for bereaved parents. That's been kind of my thing. Even when I started advocacy, it was an area that I knew I couldn't touch because I'm not a bereaved parent. I leave that to them. But at the same time, there's got to be room for just civility. I'm sorry that the world failed you. I'm sorry that your baby is gone. I'm sorry. It hurts me too. You don't think the shit doesn't bother me? It fucking tears me apart knowing that cancer is robbing the lives of innocent kids. Why do you think I advocate so fucking hard? Why do you think I do this? I don't do this for me. I do this for you. And I'm the bad guy? How the fuck does that happen? Because I say the F word? Big fucking deal. Who else uses the F word in your life and you don't make a big deal about that? Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. I try to be civil with people. I try to be nice to people. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. And if she would have called me on my phone and said, hey, what's going on? Let's have this discussion. It wouldn't have ever gone to that point. But she put it on Facebook and she made a vague post. Oh, the letter upset me so badly because I told you about Debbie Carver pretending to be Justina Banks and I fucking exposed her for the lying fucking fraud she is, right? I exposed her to the fucking world with the evidence that I still have, by the way. And it goes beyond the information that I included in the exposed video. Oh, there's screenshots of everything. Everything where she's calling me a pedophile, where she's cutting me down and just saying things that aren't true. Saying that I wanted to defecate on the grave of a kid. That's really fucking disgusting. I would never do a thing like that, and it would never occur to me to do a thing like that. She's a fucking liar. So yeah, I'm calling her out for being the fucking lying bitch she is. And it doesn't matter if you think that I was in the wrong for doing it. I don't care. You don't fucking lie about me and think you're going to get away with that shit because I will find out eventually. I wanted to become an advocate in 2013, which I've been an advocate now for 13 years because I wanted to help make a difference. I wanted to reach out and connect with other families who are going through things that I can relate to personally. Situations that I've had to deal with most of my life. Childhood cancer is not just a physical thing. It's also a mental thing. It's an emotional thing. It fucks you up. It screws you up mentally, emotionally, physically. It's not just a physical thing. I'm on fire this week. And I wanted to hold that pressure until today because the Sunday video update is where I really and truly let out everything. I am sick to death of people walking into this and acting like they know more about it than a person who's actually been through it. I didn't walk into this, okay? I come from this. I come from the childhood cancer community that you people call it, which it's not a community. I come from that. You outsiders are walking into it. You chose this. I didn't. None of your kids chose this. Nobody. Not even the parent who texted me and said, would you stop talking shit about Jordan? She did not choose this. Nobody does. What is wrong with you people? Nobody chooses this life. We didn't one day wake up in the morning and say, well, gee, let's get involved with childhood cancer because we're so fucking bored with life that we don't know what to do with ourselves. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? This is my life too. And I'll be damned if I'm going to sit back and let people misuse and mistreat this. That's why I speak up so much about people like this. They have no business even in a fucking room with a kid when they don't know what that's like. You know what an outsider can do that a parent can't? They can get up and walk out anytime they want. They don't have to stay there. They're not obligated to stay. And Jordan wants to be treated like a fucking goddess because, oh, well, the kids look up to me. They love me. They crawl up on my lap. Well, fuck you. They crawl up on my lap too. So what? They don't want me to leave either. You think you're something special because they look up to you and they love you. Well, that doesn't get you any fucking closer to the reality of this. You don't know what they go through, Jordan. Even if they tell you, if they express to you in layman's terms or otherwise, you still would not know. That goes for everybody. I don't want to make it sound like I'm picking on Jordan, but there are many people out there like her who try to make it their life. It's not your life. It's your life's work. There's a difference. It's your life's work. It's not your life. Anyway. Whew, that felt good. Now I'll see how many complaints I get about that because I sounded off and I really don't care. I don't care. Lately, I have taken it upon myself just to say fuck it. I don't care anymore. People need to know what's going on. They need to stop using this to their benefit. They need to stop exploiting kids for clout. Children are in urgent need of medical care. Urgent need. You know, the last thing they need is to worry about someone's online persona and image. They have bigger, more important issues to worry about than to think about your dumbass and you want to look good in front of the world. Shame on you. Shame on you. Even if you weren't there, it doesn't matter. What's going to happen is going to happen, irrespective of your fucking presence, Jordan. What do you think you're doing? Who do you think you're talking to? I've been a survivor longer than you've been alive, sweetheart. You're not telling me shit that I don't already fucking know. Anyway, how are you? I'm I'll be okay. I'm not going to have a heart attack or a stroke on camera. I just had to get that out. I'm okay. I'm all right. Woo! And I want to make it known too, because there's something else that I really need to make known. I don't hate Jordan. I don't hate anybody who, if you raise awareness to childhood cancer, great. If you're raising money for cancer research or helping the families, that's wonderful. I don't have an issue with that. There's no hate. There's no hate coming from me when I get worked up like that. It's contention, because there's people who are using this to their advantage, and they're doing it in a very sophisticated, master manipulative way. And parents and most people don't see that. It passes right over them like an obvious joke. It passes over you. You don't get it. So I have to state that for the record. There's no hate. There's just a lot of contention. Because most of the outsider types, most of the outsider types, they are looking for the approbation for doing what they do. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Even as a childhood cancer survivor, I've done a lot of awesome things in my life, and a lot of things don't make it out into the spotlight, which is the way I prefer it. Because not everything needs a spotlight. Not everything needs to be front page news. There's a lot of things. I'm currently doing things that nobody knows about. Dad and Amy don't even know about it. Which, by the way, Dad and Amy are at the hospital because Amy is having issues with her arm. She can't move her left arm. There are lots of things going on. I'm doing so many things that most people don't know. And that's the way I like it. There's a thing called humility. And if you understand humility, then nothing else matters. The only thing that matters, if you are so concerned about how the world is going to see you, here's what you do. You help people. Sure, absolutely. I encourage that. I encourage the hell out of it. Help everybody as much as you can. Help everybody and as many people as you can. But what you do, instead of then turning around and putting it on Facebook saying, oh, I'm so wonderful, I'm amazing. What you do is, if you're so concerned about that, this is what I do. I help people privately. They will know who I am. They know the work that I've done for them, or the what do you call that? The charity that I've done, or the generosity that I provided for them. They're going to know that. They're going to know my personality. They're going to know my sincerity. I don't have to put it on Facebook. I don't have to put it on YouTube. I don't. Because the people I help and the people that I have helped, they know the real Jer Bear. They know the real me. I don't give a fuck what Debbie Carver says about me, because she's a fucking liar, as everybody now knows. She is an absolute liar. She's all about the approbation, and all the fucking childhood cancer memes as she puts on her Facebook page, the gold ribbons, she'll put her name on the bottom for the credit. You know, I was actually talking to a mom from here in Michigan, a bereaved parent, by the way. She told me herself that Debbie demanded that her name be put on the internet for credit. She told me that herself. I'm not making it up. I'll tell you, I don't want to give away too much information, but the nickname of the cancer warrior who passed away, his nickname was Cowboy. Think about that. Think about it. His mom told me that Debbie would help as long as her name was included. I'm sure I've got the email somewhere. I could probably dig it up. This is the kind of people you deal with when vanity vultures, when they see an opportunity, when they see vulnerability, they come down and take their chance. I feel so bad for these kids. I feel so bad for these children who are in the hospital. Who knows? A lot of them don't have. God, that even kills me to even say it. I hate to say it, but I have to say it. A lot of these kids don't have much time left. They don't. And the way that, yes, I understand parents are susceptible to wearing their heart on their sleeve, and they show their vulnerability to the world, because childhood cancer is a brutal son of a bitch. And that's where you end up when you end up in a situation that you cannot get out of. I understand the vulnerability that comes with having a sick child. I was a sick child. My parents, if my mom was still here today, she would tell you the same thing. She understands the vulnerability. But then you have people who are here only for the vanity. And it shows. And you people wonder why I get so worked up and frustrated and angry. It's contention towards people who are abusing the cause so they can look good to the rest of the world. It doesn't matter so much that your kids are sick and dying. To me, it matters. It always has. I come from childhood cancer. Outsiders like Debbie and Jordan, they came to it. We're coming from it. I'm someone who's coming from it. They're coming towards it. And she's going to have the audacity and the temerity to go on Facebook and say, well, I understand. I'm in this. No, you're fucking not. No, you're not. How dare you lie? How dare you? And this is something else. This is something else that really got my blood boiling. She actually said, and this is from Jordan, by the way, and I think this is an absolute fucking lie that she went out on a limb just to make up so that way she can look good and continue to look good to all of her blind following fucking sheep. So she says, and I quote, an oncologist once looked at me and said, at this point, you are doing more to keep her alive than I am. She loves you. You give her something to wake up for every day. That's a bunch of fucking bullshit. That is a bunch of bullshit. For an oncologist, someone who is actually trained in that field of medical expertise, telling someone with zero training and zero credentials and zero whatever to do with childhood cancer, like for cures and stuff, research, for an actual oncologist who's licensed and trained in that field and has the credentials to treat people, I don't believe that. I do not believe that there is an actual oncologist alive in the fucking world who would actually tell someone who has zero expertise in this, well, you're doing more for this child than I am. You're a liar. You are a bold-faced fucking liar, Jordan. You have lied to the world. You have done a massive disservice to the childhood cancer world. Shame on you. How fucking dare you? How dare you say something so heinous? Do you really believe that I don't believe that for a second. So we should just go by subjective feeling, and someone's physical presence radiates an aura that is somehow more healing than modern medicine. Are you kidding me? Are you serious right now? That is absolutely absurd, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. You parents should be outraged by this shit. Outraged. I would be furious if I was a parent with a kid in treatment. I would be furious with that statement. Furious. And you guys don't care. You don't care. Oh, but Jordan's so sweet. And oh, she did this for my kid and she did that for my kid. I don't give a fuck. I don't care anymore. I don't care. She's a liar. She actually wants you to believe that an actual trained professional and expert with the credentials and the licensure to administer chemotherapy, she wants you to think that someone who actually has the position that they have to give your baby medicine, that somehow she has something that they don't. Are you serious? Hey, Jordan, guess what? I'll tell you what, if you think your physical presence radiates an aura that is more healing than modern medicine, I suggest that you write up a paper, submit it for peer review in the community of scientists who are studying this shit around the clock, night and day, and get back with us on what they think about your ridiculous position on how your physical presence radiates a healing aura. Somehow you're doing more just by being there. Are you kidding me? You expect me to believe that? You're a fucking liar. You are a fucking liar. And people want me to back off and just not say anything. I'm sorry, but this is your child. This is your child. They need the treatment. They need the medicine to help them. I tell you what, I walked away from advocacy in 2019. Kind of, for this reason, because people are just ignorant and stupid about a lot of things. It was one of the reasons why I walked away the first time. And after my mom died, I decided to come back to advocacy and help as many people as I could. Coming from the personal experience that I had. And then I come back, it's just gotten worse. It has gotten worse. It's not even just the rumors, because now that I've called out Debbie, and now that I know that it's really her behind the Justina Banks profile on Facebook, that's simmered down quite a bit. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I haven't been on Facebook for the past 3 weeks. And I just don't get it. I don't get you people anymore. I'm doing my best. Even as being an advocate is just a special label. Even if I didn't call myself an advocate, I'm still going to advocate for your kids. I'm still going to do that irrespective of some special fucking label that I want to give myself. I'm a survivor first. And when I see people who are dishonest as fuck, like Jordan, making shit up as she goes along because she wants to get you to think that she is there's something about her that just makes everything bright and beautiful again. When we get people like this, it becomes a problem. The wrong people, the most ignorant, selfish human beings in the world are getting the most, the most accolades. They're making news because of some video that went viral. Really, what they are liars. I do not believe, I with my whole heart, I do not believe that an oncologist said that to her. By the way, Jordan's not an oncologist. She does not have any medical expertise at all. She does not practice medicine in the field. She says that she works full time. Cool. Good for you, Jordan. But guess what? You are not a medical expert. You are not trained. You don't have training or expertise in the field of pediatric oncology. How dare you? How dare you say a thing like that? And if an oncologist really did say that, then I would be questioning the ethics of that oncologist. I would be questioning why they are in a position to be giving any child a medicine or a treatment that is meant to save their life. I would be questioning that oncologist. But you're not going to give the name of the oncologist because, for all we know, you could have just pulled that out of thin air just to try to make yourself look good, and so much to the point where you had taken a foolish attempt and approach. You say you understand science, then you just contradicted yourself by saying that an actual scientist told you that, an oncologist. You don't think they're not scientists? They absolutely are. You know, Jordan, I understand you went to MSU. You went to University of Tampa, okay? So then you understand how, okay, when they teach things in colleges and universities, I want you to listen now. Pay attention. Learn a little something. I know at 27 you think you know everything. You don't know shit. You do understand, you do realize that when you go to college, even at, high school. It doesn't really matter. You do understand that the information that you're being taught was verified and fact checked before the scholars printed the information and before it made its way to the school. You do understand that, right? Like the information that you read, even my oncologists, which 3 of the most amazing people on the face of the planet, they studied peer-reviewed information that was fact-checked, independently verified by scholars who printed and published that information to teach to students so they could get their credentials and practice in the field of pediatrics. That's exactly how it works. All of that information is peer-reviewed. The consensus of scientists, there could be 10, 11,000 scientists. There has to be a consensus where a majority of the community of scientists reach the same conclusion. When that information, because they got to have a sample set, and when when a substantial amount of the community reaches that conclusion, that's the conclusion. They pass it down to scholars who print the information. The information makes its way to colleges, universities, where professors teach this shit, and then you are supposed to work at getting your credentials from what you've learned. It's a trickle down. It starts at the very top and works its way down to you, more or less. It's no different from, when they determined that I had Wilms tumor. No different. No different at all. That information was peer-reviewed. They were trained in the field to look for classic signs and signatures and symptoms that I was exhibiting. That's what they were trained to do. They didn't have a feeling by sitting in a chair, Jordan. That's not how it works. You're so smart, you fucking liar. Yeah, I'm on fire today because I'm frustrated and I'm angry. And I made it this far in the show and I didn't even mention at all that we lost a country music pioneer last week. We lost Dolly Parton last week. Cancer, 80 years old. We lost her last week. We also lost Tim Curry. We lost Shelley Fabares. We've lost a lot of greats. We lost Tim Cullen. So tonight, if you listen to the Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards, he's going to dedicate tonight's show to Dolly Parton. He's going to play a lot of Dolly songs. I hope you guys will tune in, tell him Jerry Bear sent you, and enjoy the show if you decide to listen tonight. Dolly Parton, we lost Dolly Parton last week at the age of 80. She had a brief battle with cancer. We found out later that it was cancer. She kept it a secret. She kept it private for all this time, which she had a right to do. She could have been in the worst pain in the world and she still smiled through it all. It's a huge loss. I was very shocked when I read that Dolly died, but I also knew that she was sick. She had to cancel some of her shows. And she didn't want for anybody to worry because she knew how loved she was. And the thing that I loved about Dolly Parton so much is that she had given so much of herself. She was a true philanthropist. She helped as many people as she could. She was phenomenal as fuck. Phenomenal as fuck. I love Dolly. I have a couple of her movies. I think I have. Well, I got 9 to 5. I thought I had Steel Magnolias. I might have Steel Magnolias. And she was also in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which come out in like 82 or 83. She was truly one of a kind. She was one of a kind. And her music catalog spans decades. A tremendously, remarkably talented woman. The world lost a jewel. The world lost an icon. And, she was really true to herself, despite the fact that she had breast implants and she wore wigs all the time. Um, she did it because she was comfortable enough to do it and she loved doing what she loved to do. And she helped a lot of people. But she didn't let it go to her head like some people. She didn't let it go to her head. She actually made sure that people were taken care of. And when she would be interviewed on her philanthropy and all the wonderful things she did, she didn't let it go to her head. She says, well, this was the plan. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to execute that plan, and I did, and I feel great. I feel wonderful for helping to make a difference. That's what I want to do. She did not let it go to her head. She didn't. She was truly one of a kind. And when I heard, because Dad was sitting at the kitchen table and there was a picture said Dolly Parton dead at 80, and Dad says, "Could you verify this for me, please? Because there's a lot of people who like to, the death hoaxes. We know about the death hoaxes." And so I looked it up on Google, and it was verified. It was true. I think it was People magazine said that Dolly Parton died, and then CNN, and then I think the Washington Post after that. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact order, but I know it was like three of the biggest reputable sources of information. I think it was even ABC News. They actually broke in with a special report on ABC when Dolly Parton died, just like they did Betty White. They broke in with a special report and said, Betty White has passed away at the age of 99. They did the same with Dolly. Country music icon Dolly Parton dead at 80. And that's when I took it upon myself and I made a video for this channel just to say, hey, we lost one of the most beautiful people in the world. And it's a sad day, not just for country music, but it's a sad day for the entire world because the world loved Dolly. She was true to herself. She wasn't trying to, she didn't do what she did just to say, yeah, look at me and look how amazing I am. She didn't let it go to her head. She was larger than life. She was a larger than life person, and she will definitely be missed. Tim Curry, another one who I was actually, but with Tim Curry, I kind of had maybe just the tiniest little sneaky suspicion that his death was near because he had a stroke and it left him in a rough state. It left him in rough shape. And I figured at some point, like his time was coming. I remember Tim Curry in the Home Alone movie, the second Home Alone, Lost in New York. He was the concierge, and Rob Schneider was the bellhop. But Tim Curry played the role of the concierge at the Trump Hotel in the Home Alone movie, where he was lost in New York, or so it were. And I also remember Tim Curry making appearances on the TV show Roseanne, if you remember, in the latter part of the series. He actually conned Dan out of some money in the episodes. He was very sly, very slick. But yeah, and Tim Cullen, yeah, just another big name that the world is just reeling over his death. And yeah, Dolly Parton was privately laid to rest. She's been laid to rest in a private ceremony in Nashville. So we have taken just a lot of losses this past week. And today I found out that a local person that I've known for a very long time, he fought in Vietnam. His name was Larry Jerstick, and he passed away just recently. And, because it's sad, because I remember, always going around Chesaning to the post office, to Frank's supermarket, just anywhere and everywhere, I would see Larry. He would either be walking around with a cane or he would be in his Amigo, his electric mobility. And just a nice guy. Always said hi, always had a smile, always wore a hat, had his suspenders. And he passed away. I think it was yesterday. He passed away yesterday. And the amazing thing about Larry is that well, he adopted a bunch of kids, and one of those kids was actually babysat by my mom. My mom was and it's true. Larry's daughter, her name's Kelly. My mom used to babysit Kelly when she was a little girl. So yeah, there's always some connection. There's always some history where it all just comes back. I don't hold on. Wait. I think that's Dad and Amy. Let me look. They did this last night too. Hey, nobody's here. Hey, nobody's here. Shut it. Zip it. I love you, but hush. But yeah, my mom used to babysit his daughter Kelly when she was a little girl. So that's all I wanted to say about that. It's there's a lot of people. We're just losing a lot of people, and what do? Nothing you can do. But we are down to the final 4 minutes of the final Sunday video update of August, and it's the Sunday video update prior to Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, the beginning of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And look, I don't like to lose my cool. I don't like to lose my shit when I'm doing live streams like that, but that's been bottled up all weekend long. I actually went out to Albee Township Hall yesterday. They had a fundraiser. It was a car show for a local little boy who he's not a childhood cancer survivor, not a warrior, but he or not a cancer warrior, I should say. He might be a warrior in his own right, but he's not a cancer warrior. So it's a condition where his nerves are not, like his nerves and his muscles don't, they're not on the same level. I don't know how to explain it because they didn't actually officially diagnose him with a condition. So I don't even know what the name of his condition is, but he was a sweet little guy. I was happy to have met him yesterday. He was eating pizza, and he says, I asked him, I said, "You like pizza?" He says, "Yeah, I don't like pepperoni though." Well, I thought pepperoni was the best part of the pizza. He says, "I like cheese." Okay. You're a cheese pizza kind of dude. I got you, right on. But it was cool. He was a sweet kid. He's probably, hell, I don't know. I'd say 3, 4. I don't know. He's just a little guy. But he was the sweetest little guy, and I was happy to have met him. And I talked to some people there yesterday, and they were happy to see me. And yeah, so I was there for a little while, but I was kind of disgusted by the cost of the vendors. So I got what was called a double smash burger with a large fry and a Pepsi. Cost me $33. Yeah. The large fry was $10. The burger, the double smash burger, was like $15. So there's $25. And then the Pepsi was $2. So there's $27. So and somehow it come out to like $33.13. It's like, where is the extra money coming from? Tax? And I think that's what it was. It was tax, but I don't know. So let me, I could probably do a quick calculation here. Let me see. So it come to 27 even, 6 cents sales tax. So there's $1.62, $27 plus $1.62. That should have only been $28.62. But it somehow come to fucking $33.13. So I don't know. I don't really care. But it is 4:00 Eastern time. I thank you all for stopping in and indulging me for the past hour. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jer Bear. Don't forget tonight a special Dolly Parton presentation of the Fox Sunday Flashback with Dan Richards. Be sure you tune in 103.9 The Fox. Again, that number is 810-230-9777. You can message Dan at the official Fox Sunday Flashback Facebook page. You can also email him flashback@classicfox.com. So make sure you tune in tonight, 7:00. I want to thank Chewing Off My Toenail, because he was the only one who came into chat. There's like 5 people watching right now. They watch, but they don't have the guff to say anything in my chat, because I think they know that if they're going to get smart, sparks are going to fly. But they can come back and watch anytime they want, long as they behave themselves. Or I just might want to have a conversation. I can't guarantee what's going to be said after any stupid, despicable comments, but a conversation will be had. So yeah, come on back next week if you feel brave enough to do it. My name is Jared Fuller, aka the Jer Bear. I'm out. Y'all have a lovely rest of your evening, and I'll be back next week, the very first Sunday video update of the month of September, which will be on Sunday, September 6th. I love y'all. Have a great week, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.